When I was younger, I grew up in a house with all girls. So we had one bathroom that we all shared to get ready. And in that bathroom, there were mirrors all over the place. And I actually liked getting up and going into the bathroom and just having all of my sister's hair products and my hair products and all the beauty products spread out and standing and looking at myself in the mirror and curling my hair and, frizzy my bangs, not my bangs, brains, my bangs. I had bangs for a short period of time, very short. Didn't look good on bangs. And I just loved it. I loved the feeling of getting ready. I loved the feeling of putting makeup on and moisturizer and all the different 7,000 body sprays. It was something that I actually really enjoyed. And I don't know when, but at some point in my life, I don't know when or what level, the mirror became something that I did not want to look in anymore. The mirror became something I would kind of cringe to look at or walk past. And as I reflect back, it makes me sad. It makes me wonder, at what point did the messaging of the world get so loud? And at what point did I start to believe it that I didn't like looking in the mirror anymore? And the truth is that the mirror became a critic. The mirror became something that pointed out lines and soft edges and changes that the world tells us to fight against. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to share the truth because every line is actually a map of laughter, of heartbreak, of resilience, of growth, of change. Every change in my body is proof of survival, is proof of giving birth to 4 children, to creating a family, right? To standing for hours doing a heart transplant. The strength in my legs that allow me to stand and perform procedures for hours upon hours upon hours to save someone's life. And somewhere after 50, somewhere in the last year, I have realized the mirror doesn't get to tell me who I am. I get to decide who I am. So today we're talking about reclaiming the mirror, redefining body, redefining beauty and self-worth, not erasing, but embracing the years. Not saying, I don't want to show how old I am, but embracing that. I really want to talk about it. And we're going to be talking about the most powerful reflection we'll ever see isn't in the glass, but it's the way that we show up for ourselves. If you have been struggling to show up for yourself, if you feel like at the end of the day, you don't have time to think about you, you don't have time to ever self-reflect, you're barely trying to just make it through the day. And maybe you've taken other courses, maybe you've even had coaching. Maybe you're like, look, Sash, I've been trying to do it all and I just cannot find this elusive word called balance. I still feel exhausted. I still find myself making the same mistakes or over-functioning or going down the path of burnout that I so know, and I've read, I know all about it, Sasha. I just can't figure this out. I want to offer a solution to you. I want to help you. I have a solution for you. It's called Rise. It's my small group coaching cohort. I do this once a year. We start in October, and this is not additional work to add to your life. This isn't something you're going to feel bad because it's something, again, you didn't finish. This is me walking beside you as a coach with a small group of women who are going to make you feel safe and secure and really transform who you are. If you want a transformative experience in the next year, send me an email, sasha@becomebraveenough.com. I want to see if this course is right for you to be in it. It's just a handful of women. It's super small. It's very intimate and it's amazing. It is truly amazing. The things that have come out of this course the last 2 years I've done it have been phenomenal. And that's why I'm doing it again. I wouldn't do it again if it doesn't work. So please reach out to me. You can read about it online at becomebraveenough.com. Click on courses. You can read all about Rise. But also if you're serious, if you're wondering, is this right for me? Can I do this? Will this fit? Send me an email, sasha@becomebraveenough.com. So we're talking about the mirror today. We're talking about beauty. And this is not an episode on how to not look 50. So if that's what you were hoping to get out of today, bye. I am 50 and I'm actually really proud of the way I look because I'm 50. I love when someone says, you're 50. And I go, yeah, isn't that amazing? Like, I don't go, yeah, I'm 50. I go, yeah, I am. I love it. I love being 50. I feel so much freedom being 50. It's beautiful. So the mirror is often a battleground for us. It has been for me. And I'm going to be really transparent in this whole episode. I mean, I say that every time, but I'm pretty much transparent. Y'all know a lot about me. If you follow the show, if you listen to me on here, I don't hold back. I don't lie. I don't paint a pretty picture. And I grew up in a family of all girls. So beauty and beauty products and looking good and makeup and all that. And, all of that was just kind of part of my childhood experience. I used to say I grew up in a sorority house because truly, I had two older sisters, two younger sisters, and my dad traveled a lot. And so our house was just all women. And nobody was ever fully dressed. Like, God, if someone came into our house, it was like this person walking around in a t-shirt and underwear, this person walking around in their bra and pants because they're changing their top. I mean, it was chaos. So we never had boys in our house. I mean, the only boys we really had in our house were our cousins. And then obviously we were clothed, but like it was a free for all. If you came over and you were girlfriends, which we had tons of girlfriends always over at our house, there was just women walking around, my mother walking, like it was just crazy. And so for me, like when I went to college and I remember moving into the girls' dorm, it was kind of like there were a lot of girls that had never really adjusted to living with other women. And I have grown up living with women my whole life. So I think that's part of the reason why I love the work I get to do, is because it feels very family oriented and very natural for me to be around women. I like being around women. I grew up that way. And I also grew up with a father who I did not realize how special this was to have. And I'm not painting this perfect childhood because I did not have a perfect childhood. I do not have perfect parents, but I did have a father who told me every single day that I was beautiful. Every day he would say, he still does. When I see my dad, he can come over. My dad is the drop-in dad. He comes all the time, unexpected. And he drops into my house and he's typically bringing some type of vegetable from the garden or some type of food that he's cooked. It's his love language. Even just yesterday, he was dropping off tomatoes and he walks in, he says, well, hi, you look beautiful today. I mean, that's just how he is to me. He's always been that way to us girls. He's just saying, oh, don't you look gorgeous? Now, you could look, honestly, I could look like death. And my dad would say that to me. That is a dad telling his daughter, you're beautiful. So I always thought that's who I am. I'm a beautiful 7-year-old girl looking in the mirror, even though I had huge glasses and, I mean, I was kind of nerdy, but I always felt good about myself. I never was afraid to look in the mirror is what I'm saying. That changed. And I think it changed really honestly for me, probably in my 30s when I started, if I really look back, social media. I think when I started getting on social media, and then I started seeing other people on social media, and when I started realizing I had a platform on when I had a platform on social media, the mirror became something very not fun for me. And there are cultural messages about beauty, shape, and how we see ourselves, especially in medicine, I think, where authority is tied to appearance. And how good of a doctor you are is really tied to how you look. Is people think that which is not true. Has nothing to do with your appearance as a physician. But in our world I think it's like that in any industry. Like the more attractive you can present yourself, the more perfect you can present yourself, the more successful you're going to be in life. Like this is just kind of this messaging we get from the culture. And and certainly aging is everywhere on social media. How not to age, how not to look, how to look 20 years younger, how to have the skin of a 20-year-old, how to have the body of a 20-year-old, how to have the abs of a 25-year-old, how to look like you never had kids, all of this messaging. And I want to just say, number 2, that aging is power. It's not decline. We have to break the myth that turning 50 means invisibility. That's not true. I think a lot of women will say, like, I started to feel invisible. And I think that we have to fight against that. And that's what I love about the community I'm creating is I don't want any woman to feel invisible. If you come to my conference, if you take a course, if you're in my community, I want to see you. You matter, not because of your age or your appearance or wrinkles or no wrinkles or Botox or no Botox, right? And just highlight the women that really gain with age. If you look at the data, let's go to the data. I love data. You know this about me. If you look at the most successful women in business in our world today, they are all between the age of 55 and 65. They peak around 55 to 60. That's freaking amazing. That is amazing. I know that in a time where the world is telling you you're going through ovarian failure, you're nothing, you're not beautiful anymore, maybe your hair is thinning, maybe you need Botox, maybe you need a facelift. That's what the world and social media is putting out there. But the reality is that women in their 50s and 60s are killing it. They're making more money than younger women. They're wiser than younger women. They have more joy and fun than younger women. They travel more than younger women. So get excited. Okay. Can we just stop this whole aging is a decline and you lose all your power and you become invisible? I'm saying no to that. I don't know about you, but I'm not subscribing to that. I refuse to subscribe to that. I'm going to be posting pictures this year of my life where I'm building a really cool new venture. And if you're listening, please go to Legacy Collective Omaha and follow me. I've just started my new page. I'm building a new business and I'm super excited about it. It's not going to open for a year, but I'm telling you right now, like I am building things at this age 50 that I never even could have believed in myself at age 40. I'm doing things now I never did then. And the one thing that the world tells me I should be sad about is the way I look at age 50 and the fact that I'm aging and that my body's not the same. Is my body the same? No. Am I aging? Yes. Am I getting wrinkles? Yes. Why does that matter? Why should that make my joy less and my value as a human less? It shouldn't. So I love these examples, and I'm bringing women on the show this series of women doing amazing things, of doing radical, cool things and powerful things at age 50. And can we just talk third about radical self-love in a world that profits from our insecurities? I have really cultivated my Instagram feed to be very selective. I have unfollowed friends that, quite frankly, don't make me feel great about myself. I'm like, I don't really care about having an 8-pack. I don't at age 50. I care about being strong and being able to lift heavy things. I was just moving some stuff last weekend with Lance in the barn because we're going through finally all the stuff from the storage unit that we don't need in this house. And as we moved back into our house after the tornado, and I was lifting some heavy stuff and I was like, yes, I am strong. Like, there were a couple items I was like, oh, maybe I should wait for Lance. And then I was like, I'm just going to try it. And I was like, well, that was not easy, but I can do it. And I want to be strong definitely as I age. And I know all the information out there about health. We're going to talk about that in another episode, protein, all those wonderful things we need to do. I don't care about, I'm not as vain at age 50 as I was at age 40. And I certainly am not going to feel bad about that, even though the world is profiting on that right now. Like all the self-doubt and like just, you need this and you need that and don't do this and don't do that. And you should look this way. And don't you want to look like you've never, you haven't aged a day in your life. Like that is what is selling right now. And I want to say no, that makes women insecure. Moving from self-criticism to self-compassion is a daily practice, and it is a powerful one. Today, for example, I got up, I went downstairs and I did yoga. By the way, my new favorite yoga that I love is yoga with Adrienne. Erica, one of the women who took my Rise course last year, shared with our Rise group about it. And she is a physician in Arizona and she did it for like 30 days. And she said, oh my gosh, like I've always not enjoyed yoga, but I did this and I love it. And she got me hooked on it. I'm now hooked. I love starting my day out with yoga with Adrienne. And she was talking about like we were doing this pose and strength and stretch. And she said, look at your legs. And when she said that, my eyes went to my legs and I had this inner cringe. Ugh. Ugh. Do you ever do that? Do you ever walk by the mirror or see a body part that in the mirror and you go, ugh? Who taught you that? You didn't teach you that. You didn't grow up, you didn't look at your legs at age 3 or 4 or 5 and go, ugh. You didn't. Someone taught you that. And when I was looking at my legs today, it was so funny because do you know what she said, Adrienne, on the yoga? She said, did anybody just look at their legs and go, oh, I don't like what I see? Well, think about what your legs have done for you this week. And it just stopped me in my core because I thought, oh, I did that. If I did that, probably 10 other women watching this video did that. And that was taught. That's not something innate within you. Whatever it is that you don't like about yourself, you learned that. Someone taught you that. You taught you that by looking on social media and picking up the cues. You learned wrong things. We all learn wrong things and we have to unlearn them. Unlearning things is part of adulting. Unlearning things we've heard as a child, learned as a teenager. Someone told us in a relationship that was wrong about us, these negative false beliefs. Unlearning is part of adulting. So radical self-love is moving from self-criticism to compassion. And I forced myself today to look at my legs when I was in this downward dog pose and I was staring at my thighs and go, thank you, legs. Those legs are really good. They do really good, strong work every day at the hospital, moving patients, lifting stuff. They do good work here at home. My legs carry me for hours. They carried babies, right? I love these legs. And radical self-love doesn't mean ignoring your health. It's not just saying, oh, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, not work out. No, radical self-love is going to yoga and starting the day with something wonderful and physical exercise and stretching and getting in your body and feeling it and all those things. And then walking by the mirror and go, yeah, I just did that. Yeah, that's radical self-love. Radical self-love is looking at your crow's feet and going, look at all the times I've laughed and smiled. I laugh and smile all the time. Look at all these crow's feet. The fourth thing I want to mention today is just legacy of beauty for the next generation. I want my daughter to love herself. I want my daughter to look in the mirror and go, I am so beautiful. I want that for her, like I had as a child. And the younger generation, let me tell you, it is hard with social media. I mean, so hard what they get poured into them on a daily basis is they're not enough. They're not skinny enough. They're not pretty enough. They have flaws. They're not enough, so much so that they don't even want to post a picture of themselves on social media. Unless they're some model perfect. It's heartbreaking. So let's turn body acceptance into an act of leadership for the next generation. Let's leave a legacy of fierce confidence and show that aging is not something to hide. It's something to honor. It's something to be proud of about yourself. I want to be that woman who leaves that legacy for the next generation. You know, I share this and let me tell you, the first time I heard it, it really, really got to me. It made me so insecure. I've probably heard this, I'm not joking, at least 10 times from strangers. I was on a stage and I came off the stage and a bunch of women came up to the front of the stage and I just finished giving a keynote at some place that I was giving a keynote. And a woman said, you are Sasha, I'm so excited to meet you. I followed you for years. And can I just tell you, you're so real. And I said, thank you. And she said, I love that you're not skinny. Like you're like a real woman, just a normal woman like the rest of us. And guess what? I went back to my hotel room to pack up my stuff and get on the plane. And I just felt sucker punched. I went from having this high. I loved the keynote I gave. It was super fun. I interacted with the audience. I felt like I delivered a great talk. I got a ton of feedback that was positive. But that one statement, I love you that you're not skinny, played over and over and over in my mind. And I thought, I'm not skinny. I'm not skinny. I'm not I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not skinny enough. And the next time someone said it, and I get this at least once a year, someone comes up to me and says, thank you for not being like a size 0. I realize like what they're saying is thank you for what I choose to think is that they're saying thank you for being real and still putting yourself out there and not trying to be something you're not, and not having a fake look, and not having 7,000 fillers and changing your face. And let me say, you can do whatever you want to your face, but I'm just saying, like, I don't not wear a belt because I am a size 10. I wear a belt and I have a little pooch and I could care freaking less. I like looking cute. Cute people you can look cute at any size. You can wear a belt at any size. Newsflash. There's not a rule about that. You don't have to be a size 0 or size 2 to put yourself out there. You don't have to be a size, 6 to wear a bikini. And I think what these women are saying is they love that about me. They like that I'm body positive. But when I first heard it, it hurt my feelings. And because I was looking at it through the lens of Instagram. And Instagram says I should be skinny. No, actually, I should be healthy. And guess what? Instagram says I should look 30. No, I should look 50. I am 50. I hope today that you heard a little bit about the mirror and that it's always going to reflect back an image, but only we decide the story that image tells. We can keep measuring ourselves against impossible standards, or we can choose a new narrative. That is a narrative I'm choosing for myself of strength, of wisdom, and unapologetic beauty. At 50 and beyond, we are not fading. We are fierce. We are not less. We're not invisible. We're more experienced, more grounded, and more willing to live on our own terms. So the next time you stand in front of the mirror, I hope you don't just see lines and curves and flaws. I want you to see a woman who has lived, who has overcome, and who still has chapters left to write, because that reflection is not a decline. That reflection is power. All right, if you are still thinking, I need more of this, Sasha. I need more of your encouragement, and I need an accountability partner. I need someone to help me transform my life in the next year. The next year is going to happen, whether you transform yourself or not. I want to walk beside you. I'm starting my new course called Rise. It's in October, and I promise you it is not a long list of to-dos. It is a friend of accountability and a coach who walks beside you. If you are interested in that being me, if you're interested in transforming your life, overcoming burnout, setting boundaries, having great time management, understanding what it is you want for yourself, sign up. Go to becomebraveenough.com, click on courses, and check out Rise, or send me an email, sasha@becomebraveenough.com. And if you like this episode, will you please share with a friend? Will you please give me a shout out on Apple, iTunes, give me a rating, but share it with a friend, talk about it on social. Someone else needs to hear this message today. Have an amazing day.